Agent Tank, welcome back. Pound Bandit, welcome back. Mr. Ninja Cat, thank you for 28. Sure is a nice day in France. Anybody GA flying in France today and this tomorrow is going to have a great time. Just the visibility is crazy. Do you think they released Microsoft Flight Sim in an earlier state than they should have? Almost undoubtedly they did. But if you know anything about how games are developed and released, you have the developer and you have the publisher, right? And the developer Asobo was probably screaming, no, don't release this yet, it's not ready, there are still bugs in it, blah 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 blah. And then you've got the publisher who's more concerned with release dates, marketing plans, other things that are coming up that will affect the release schedule, and so they have to set a date, and that would have been set months ago, and then Asobo will have had to have crunched all the way up to that release date and then released it. Yeah, that's probably what happened. I don't know, nobody knows apart from Asobo and Microsoft, but that's probably what happened. And you know, they've already got like the Xbox announcements. They may have future announcements around Microsoft Flight Sim around the Xbox announcements. There may be other things in the timeline in the run up to Christmas that we are not aware of yet. Other things that they want to release before Christmas. That's the whole publisher side of things. That's what they concern themselves with. And Asobo as a developer just have to meet that deadline and release whatever they can. French weather's anything like I'm getting, it's going to be 29 to 33. Oh yeah. Did you not see the windy map, Rome? No points is that Dawdy.
Restricted area 300 feet above.
Trying to find this waypoint on here. He says heading to Dawdy. And here's the plane coming in here. Oh, there's Dawdy though. Just saw it then. It's gone. There it is. Dawdy. Insert en route. There we go. That way. Put that back on VFR.
Restricted area 1,600.
I mean, if you put that on airways mode, it can make things a little bit simpler when you're flying these routes, but you can get more info that way, and then you can flick it around and put it on track up, and then it's basically aiming where your plane is aiming. Did you get any calipers? No, Dave. I didn't. Because I don't want to buy calipers, Dave, that are just going to be rubbish, and I don't want to spend, what was it, 80 quid on some decent ones for something that I'm not going to use that often. So I've just not bought any. Maybe, Dave, when you get some super expensive ones, I can buy your okay ones off you second hand. And that'll do me. About the caravan speed, I read that some kind of bugged invisible air brake which is armed on startup and you have to assign a button to release it. It does feel like the caravan underperforms massively, Captain Cray. You know, if there is something like that causing the problem, I would thoroughly believe it, because it just seems to climb like a brick. I know, Dave, but, you know. Is it beard ASMR time? I don't believe so. People sell their old tools on eBay. Yeah, the problem is I don't know what I'm looking for. Like, Dave has basically said, oh, don't buy these, they're rubbish calipers. Buy these, they're way better. And I haven't got a clue. So I'd have to sort of find something on eBay and then say to him, is this any good? Anyway, I managed to get to 9,000 amazingly. You hear about the guy who managed to crash the flight simulator? Shook it off its hydraulics? Nope. Yeah, maybe, Dave. But then, you know, the one day when I actually need a caliper to measure something accurately, it's not going to measure it accurately. Like, I saw the one that you showed me, and the digits were just, like, going up and down everywhere. And I know you was only talking about 0.1 of a mil, but it was still a bit dodgy. Have you noticed the caravan tending to overcorrect on autopilot nav mode? Seems to kind of rock back and forth, never finding the right heading. Put half bank mode on and it's a lot better. Dave, it would literally be cheaper for me to pay you money to send me your calipers, right, via like special delivery. Then I measure it and then post them back to you. And I don't have any calipers, but I don't waste 80 quid. I'd waste like 20 quid instead. Neo, there's no yaw damper working in the caravan currently, but on the TBM you do notice a bit. Well, you should do. Right, we should be making a left turn onto 119er. Well, you missed one, Vroom. I'm hoping you'll get the other one, mate. has been coaches. When does France stop being quite so flat and boring? At the Alps, yeah, probably. It must get hilly at some point. Yeah, imagine that, ED. At the edges of the Central Mountains. I can't believe it, it's just nuts. I mean, they've got all this farmland, right? Who are they making all this food for? It can't all be wine. We're not in the wine area, are we? There's certain areas that are the wine area. Right, I'm just going to nip for a bio break, I think. While we're in cruise. So I shall be right back. I'm back. See how the plane's doing. Okay, doing okay. Maybe get a bit more speed out of it. There we go. Best caravan flying since James May. Lol. Where this is going to get interesting is when we have to try and find the airfield to land on. Let's see. So, 2,200. We need to lose about 7,000 feet. And then we need to slow down, so yeah. About 25 nautical, I think, we'll descend. 25 nautical miles from the destination. Wait. Is that... Oh no, it's an illusion. I thought it wasn't flat there, but I think it is. Mr. Landrake, thank you very much for subbing. Welcome to the NetHouse, Landrake. Thank you very much for your support. Or is that a hill? I can't work out if that's a hill or not. To this. It doesn't really give you elevation data. A lot of rivers around here. This here, where it's gone yellow and green, I'm thinking that might be hilly. We shall see. Hopadopoulos, thank you for 7 months. Look at that for a snack. Can you see that? It's basically a Ritz cracker with some soft cheese and then a skip on top. So it's like a prawn cheesy thing. So Blackie, where's that one? Oh, do you mean in the game? You mean the game? Another thing I wish they'd actually put into this is switching between hectopascals and mercury settings, because it really annoys me. Right, some of the planes let you, most of them don't. New Alls, welcome back. Doing well, Chris Law, thank you, mate. LFSD is DGLVYD me. I couldn't find it, like, at all, Taketsu. Couldn't find the DME or the airfield. No, Jazz, there's no, it doesn't draw passengers at all at the moment. There's one on the Garmin's middle screen. How do you put it on? I mean, it kind of shows you a bit of elevation here. It's definitely not flat anymore. Mr. Red Crow, thank you for gifting us sub to Poorly Hung. Welcome, Red. Thank you, Red Crow. Papadopoulos, hi. Have you ever tried original Doritos with dairy milk squares on top? No. As much as I agree, it doesn't sound like appealing. It's worth a try. That kind of creates chili chocolate, and I don't like chili chocolate, so I don't think I'm going to love that. Flying Monty, thank you for subbing. .63 North Clout. Need to descend in about 40. Map GPS topo. Oh that, yeah. Yeah. I remember that. What are your thoughts on Logitech SideTech panels? We could try one after this if you want. I've just downloaded Logitech's drivers and I've got a flight panel over there. Don't know if I've got a spare USB thing to plug it into. It says I have to have the sim running before I run the installer, I think it said. That's what it said. Just thinks I've got rid of the page. Yeah, we downloaded this and it said Microsoft Flight Simulator plugin. It says double click the file to install. Once it's finished, start Microsoft Flight Simulator. But then it says, please note that at the time of release you will need to start a flight in Flight Simulator, then browse to your desktop and run the Logitech Microsoft Flight Simulator plugin shortcut in order to start the panels. So it looks like I have to install it, then run the flight sim, then start a flight, and then run the desktop thingy. Hey, Sommy, mate. You... 1 second, Sommy. That's the USB on the side though. The 4-port one is completely plugged in, and that's the other one on the side of the rig. Can you see how many free spaces I have? Yeah? And the ones on the left, the red ones, are charging ones. So, you know, just saying. Not enough ports to go round. Do you know what, Vrom? I might have to buy another one of those things. Yeah, well, if you plug a hub into a hub, you start getting into the USB limitations. It's really weird the way it works. It's like you have like a controller, and then you can have devices hanging off the controller, or you can have other controllers. But those controllers and all their devices count towards the maximum limit of this top controller, which is itself slaved off the top of the USB controller that runs on the motherboard or something. I read it once and my eyes popped and my head scratched, and I was like, I don't know what that means. It's not as simple as that, bro. It's split into a hierarchy. And USB 2 and USB 3 have different hierarchies just to make it more complicated. And you get this like 16 device limit that you can hit. I don't know. Go and Google it and tell me if you can understand the answer. Say you want a 2,000 foot descent rate and you're at flight level 300, I could start 15 minutes, that makes sense. As you descend into or out of a headwind, tailwind, can just your vertical speed. Do we get a Freddo if we can? Dude, if I had a Freddo right now, I would eat that Freddo. I would not give it to you. I like Freddos too much. Sheepdog Man Burpig, welcome back. It's the same with kebabs and cake. I've not had a Freddo, but I don't know what it is about a Freddo, but the chocolate in a Freddo is so nice. I don't know why. There's some sorcery going on there. What's my views on the honeycomb? It's right in front of me. That's my view on the honeycomb. It's quite a good view. I'm being facetious. I quite like it. It's pretty good. It can catch you out because if you leave the switches turned on, they activate in the sim. So if you leave, let's say you leave the battery switches turned on and then start the sim in a caravan, the battery switches will immediately come on in the plane. So that's something to be aware of. The position of these switches affects the plane immediately. But apart from that, they're pretty good. Freddos have shrank a lot. Maybe you just got bigger. Why does the Cessna 112 sometimes nosedive into the ground when you turn off the autopilot? If you was flying on the autopilot, right, then the autopilot would be controlling the trim of the aircraft. At the point where you turn the autopilot off, it would leave go, but you would have control of the trim. So you've probably got some device that's overriding your trim, and that's causing you to dive. It's not the autopilot itself, it's probably something you've got. Can you join more than one group in FSE? I believe so. The question is, though, where do your loyalties lie? When you're making a flight, who are you making the flight for? Clouds. We've actually got weather. Okay, so we are going to be going straight down to 2,200 feet. And trying to find ourselves an airfield. Spec Silent Sean, thank you for 70 months. If you get this and join the FSE thing, can I spend all the money on useless things? Dave, if you get this and then join FSEconomy and then apply to the group, you'll be rejected. You start off with no money in this, Dave, by the way. No money. You have to earn your keep. What's the point in hotels and aircraft tie-downs in FSE? I don't know. I didn't even know they had such a thing. Yeah, you have to rent. That's literally what you have to do, New Orleans. You start the game, you have no money, you go and rent a plane. Put some passengers on it, fly somewhere, deliver them, make some money. Lol, stop it. Thank you for 2 years, Kevin. What's the advantage of joining a group versus going alone? Wouldn't you make money faster on your own? Yeah, you will pretty much make money on your own if you fly on your own. But you will think of it this way. If you buy one plane and then fly it all around the place, then that's great. You're making money. What are you going to spend your money on? I could buy another plane. Right, so now you've got 2 planes. Which one are you going to fly? Well, when you're flying one of them, the other one's sat on the ground. It's not earning money. It's costing you money because every plane that you buy has monthly maintenance fees, plus your 100 annual, plus your 2,000 hour engine replacement, etc, etc. So you're going to have to keep the upkeep going on those planes. Now let's say you're bored of flying around America in your plane and you want to fly in Europe. You have to buy a plane in Europe now, right? So you go and buy a plane in Europe, or you just carry on renting or whatever. Like, basically the point of being in a group is that the group has a fleet of aircraft and it pays all the maintenance fees. You don't. You just fly the planes and it keeps a cut of the money to pay for the planes. And it can have planes all over the place. And you contribute into a wider picture, if you like. Yeah, you can go negative to a point, I think. Kind of like real life. Glenn, thanks for 65 months. Not around much at the moment. Work keeping me busy, but I'm enjoying catching up on the VODs. Stay safe, Glenn. Is it better to start out as part of a group or not? If you start out, just go flying and get used to the whole thing. Join a group when you've got a vague idea what you're doing. You just bought the Diamond 62 and FSE. Nice. Depends, Sniffer, because what tends to happen is people will take your plane, right? They'll rent it, they'll fly it into like some random airfield where there are not many jobs coming out of, and it will sit there and rot until you move it back. That's what tends to happen. Did they have realistic maintenance expenses and FSE relative to the size of the plane? Yeah. Well, I don't know about realistic, but they have scaled ones, yeah.
Aerobatics 600 feet below.
Aerobatics? Blimey. Do you ever fly airlines on FSE? Nope. Look, it's got DJ... You scumbag game. It's got DJL down there. When I tried to punch that into the routing, it didn't know what DJL was. That's roughly where the airfield is. Or supposed to be. If you get the bonus at a good rate, you should be fine. It depends what your rate is. Like, if you put it too high, people won't fly the plane at all because, you know, unless they're going to fly it back, then they're going to be quids out when they fly it outbound. It's a weird one. The fix for changing the heading bug in small increments, you have to left click on it. That's what you have to do. So if you mouse wheel, it goes in like 10 degrees. If you left click on it with the mouse, or left click on the right side, like that, it goes in 1 degree. It's really annoying.
Glider winch launching 1,400 feet below.
It means it needs maintenance, Langeveld. Alright, let's get landing lights on.
Airfield 8.5 miles ahead, 2,600 feet below.
Black Falcon, it doesn't know anything about crashing. Like, what FSE does is it says, did you release your parking brake at this airport, and did you put it on at this airport, or within the vicinity of it? And was the time in between reasonable?
Glider winch launching 600 feet below.
Rental, don't know. That's what we're looking at the moment. News to channel, have a feeling I know you from somewhere. Did you volunteer at AOL or go to Portland College? That sounds like American to me. I live in England. Either way, never worked at AOL or volunteered for them, and I don't even know where Portland College is. I'm just going to altitude hold there. It's low enough. Portland's in Nottingham. Alright. Fair enough. Right, I want a heading of 134 after this. I need to slow down and try and find a runway. I want to thank you for your videos. Finally learned how to do 1000. Nice, dude. Oh look, it's not super flat around here. They actually have hills. Right, that's the airfield we're flying over now. So we're going to go flaps 1 and then go into heading mode and try and find the actual one that we want to land at. And this is the town of Dijon. Good old mustard, oh yeah. Now I need to find something that we can land on. Because Microsoft Flight Sim doesn't have the runway here. So we're going to fly straight over the top and see what's there. Ideally runway 35 would be perfect.
Parachute drop zone 5 miles ahead.
There's actually a parachute drop zone at this airfield in real life. Looks like Dijon's been modelled fairly well, apart from the massive airfield. He landed there before, it's an empty field. Fair enough. Train station below. Network 17, thank you for 26 months. Yep, that's the train station. See, I think this is it here. Or this is where it's supposed to be. Wow, what's that? Look at that below us. Giant like causeway here with this roundabout. That's amazing. That looks really good. Right, so this is the airfield, I think.
Welcome back.
It looks like they just forgot to put the tarmac in. That's really weird. Right, let's cancel the autopilot. We'll just have to land it in there somewhere. Yeah, that's what I can't understand. It's like, it's a really big town, and somehow this got missed. There's buildings here, but no tarmac. It's bizarre. Specs website isn't working. Have you run the specs command? It's going to be a bumpy landing.
Glider winch launching 3 miles ahead.
I guess we just landed that big field, right? I actually see tarmac there as well. This doesn't look so flat from here.
500.
Happy anniversary, Nata.
Come on, down you come. All's we need now is some tarmac. I guess we'll pull up over here and put the handbrake on. Right, handbrake's on. See what FSEconomy thinks of that. So we're now at LFSD. Wait, what? What's this? LFSD to LFSD? Oh, I'm reading. Durr. LFSD to L-Fly. Durr. I remember. That's because he... Ah, yeah. Yeah, these are the guys that I picked up and then brought them here for another hop. One, two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people. 10 people on this next hop. Right, what I'll do is I'll quit Microsoft Flight Sim and we'll fire that plugin up and see what happens. Let me get the Logitech thingy. Made an app that will quickly generate missing airports to Microsoft Flight Sim. I'll wait for some official stuff, I think. Need to find something I can unplug. Basically, I don't have a spare USB slot available, despite what somebody tells me. So I need to find, if I unplug the stick from here.
Happy anniversary, Nutter. I'll probably just unplug something really important. It's not my Stream Decks. I'm not sure what I unplugged. Let's fire up this installer. Finish. And then it says, right, so it's given me an icon, but it said I need to run Microsoft Flight Sim now. As if. An FBO for sale and renting for $1 billion. Yeah. They're not going to get that. I think it said I have to start a flight in Microsoft Flight Sim and then fire up this thing. Nothing happening yet. Where do you have to go? L-fly. What's the benefit of owning an FBO? You know, all those jobs that get generated, those like green jobs, they're generated by FBOs. So if they get generated and passengers get moved, the FBO owner gets paid. When you refuel and you pick somebody to get fuel from, that's an FBO. They'll get a cut of it. When you get avionics fixed or your plane repaired, FBO. You just did the new Logitech driver thing and it seems to work. Just load up an airport and run it, turn on your BAT and avionics and it works. Well, Zugoki, you can imagine that all the good ones are pretty much gone. Like, basically, the way it works is there can only be a certain number of FBOs at an airport, depending on the size. And at all the popular airfields, they went many years ago. You can buy them off people on the forum if you're looking to get into it, but you need a lot of money, like millions. How am I going to spawn at this airfield when Microsoft Flight Sim doesn't know anything about it? Can I tell it to spawn at the VOR? Drop a pin on the map. Well, hang on. If you find LFGI, maybe if you can zoom in there. So this is where I want to be, but I don't want to be airborne. But it's going to make me be airborne if I spawn there. Can you actually drop a pin next to it somehow? Airborne 16. Why you make me airborne? I don't want to be airborne. I could try slewing, I guess. I don't know why they make you spawn airborne though. Why can't it just be an option to say spawn on the ground? I don't know. I never save the flights I need. I never do that. I probably should for in cases like this, but it's pretty unusual that an entire major airfield's not in the sim.
Why is my up and down button not mapped? Oh. Whee! Do a barrel roll, squirrel. Yay! For some reason, the up and down button mappings aren't working. One sec. We need to figure this out. So that should be mapped to A and F3. Did they change something? Slew translates up, F3. Slew translate down, A key. That's interesting. F3. A. Literally doesn't work. Press the A key, press the F3 key. Doesn't work. Isn't F1 for down? I don't think that's exactly what it should be.
500.
I don't know what F1's doing. There we go, we're on the ground. Right, so now we can fire up this thing. So I don't quite understand why that didn't work, though. Like, it used to work. It used to work fine before the release version, but F1 is slew translate down fast. And that was slew translate down slow. So for some reason, the A key just didn't do very much, unless it was doing it, like, really, really slowly. Maybe I should do F1 and F4 instead. Also, pitch was F7. This is just the most obnoxious control mappings, these. Anyway, we're here. Doesn't matter. I thought I held the key in. Let's see. Let's bring that up. Desktop, what's it called? Microsoft? No. Well, I've just run the app. What's it doing? Need a stream deck. It's pretty useful. There's already a running instance of the plugin. Okay. Why doesn't it do something then? Ain't no worky. Oh well. So much for that. To figure that out some other day. Why are you not working now? Ah, broke something else now. Maybe that's what you unplugged. It's definitely plugged in.
If I unplug that and then plug it back in. Well, you heard the disconnect sound anyway. Oh well. It ain't working. Well, there's a little red thing flashed then. Nothing on the screen though. Reboot the gaming PC. Yeah. That will reboot my stream. $17.04. Right, let's fix that. Right, let's go back to this flight. So I think I need to refuel the plane because we don't have that much left. 55 gallons, and we need to fly 93 nautical. So if we put 100 nautical down there, 31 gallons. In theory, that's enough, but I'll get a little bit more. So there you go. These are the FBOs here, and they like that's the a player-owned FBO, and then that's the local market, and you can see he's undercutting the price. So you can buy it from the FBO and save some money on your fuel, basically. Right, where's Navigraph gone? Navigraph charts. New flight. L-fly, there we go. Hopefully the destination airfield will actually exist in Microsoft Flight Sim. That'd be nice. It's only a short hop. So it looks like we're going to climb out, follow that airway, make a right-hand turn. Let's see what they've got going on here. Blimey. We could probably pick up this RNAV if we can. That's really weird. Like, why does it bring you in at this sharp angle when it could bring you in at this, like, curved angle? It seems like a very sharp turn onto final. L-fly does exist. Good. I plan on making a tutorial how to use and set up FSE with Flight Sim 2020. Nope. There's people have done it already. There's no point. Right, add to routes. Now via RIP2. Plane's already running, so we'll just go with that. We can't even put the... I can't even put the start position in, because it doesn't exist. How about we just put LFGI in, that'll do. And let it pretend it exists. We'll go from the adjacent airfield, in theory. Should we do a group flight tomorrow or not? What do you think? And if we do, where do you think we should go? Left GI, where are we going to? L fly. LFGI to L fly. Well, as I say, the problem is if you want to do live timeline weather, we can't be in Europe. That's the case. Procedures, approach, RNAV 16, RIP 2 transition. Okay. That's better. Okay, well, that's good. Florida up through Maine. Florida up through Maine. The only Maine I know of is Portland, Maine. Well, I take it you mean a different place. Didn't we do Key West at some point? I've flown Key West. What about the Rockies? Isn't that like the whole, like, national parks over there that are probably pretty nice to fly around? Yeah, anywhere around Canada, Vancouver, all that would be pretty cool. How far have we got on this flight? 6,000 would be more than adequate. Scotland. Is Scotland in Europe? Good afternoon, Mark Sterling. Head east from Vancouver. The bush route with the Cub is really nice scenery. We had a lot of fun doing the bush landing stuff, but I don't know. I might ask Calipers if he's got any Canadian routes. He'll know some nice places. Leadville, Colorado is the highest airport in North America. Could be a good starting point. Yeah, it could be. Right, now I've got to figure out which bit of grass to take off from. Let's see what we are. Okay, this is going to be interesting. Well, South America have done a few of those now. Kind of like to do, I don't know, Canada, maybe just somewhere interesting, like with valleys and rivers and stuff, and cool things to look at. I mean, somewhere like Colorado might work. I'm no expert on that, though. Right, let's start the flight. Before I forget to put the passengers on board. Okay, so it's picked it up. Let's put them all on board. It's set the fuel. Takeoff. Set. Trim is completely out of whack. Trim set. Barrel pressure set. Let's go and turn around. See if we can take off. Papua New Guinea. Is that going to be on a Sunday evening? Is that going to be live? If we put live time and weather on, is that going to be daylight? That's what you've got to ask. So that excludes pretty much all of Europe, because it'll be dark after like an hour or two of us flying. Because, like, the live time, live weather thing is the most fun aspect. Like, last week it didn't work out too brilliantly. It was pretty shonky weather all the way. But the ones before that worked out brilliantly well. Like, we're not always going to work out, but if we're in North America, Canada, we may be okay. Maybe we're flying South America where it's actually winter. Never done a short field takeoff in a caravan. Let's see what happens. Try and get the nose off the ground. Oh. Why is it suddenly listing to the right? Oh my god! Holy smoke, that didn't handle very well. What the heck? Why did the right wing just completely stall then? That was really weird. Like, what should happen is it should come up and then ground effect float and we can build up airspeed and then we can climb out. What actually happened was we lifted off the ground and immediately turned to the right. That was so weird. Right, I've got airspeed anyway. Blimey. I don't know what it was. Honestly don't know what that was. That felt wrong though. You leave your lunchbox on the right wing, yeah? Left all the luggage on the right wing. Oh, there goes the autopilot dive. That's interesting. That's interesting. I reckon that's got something to do with it. Sometimes this thing seems to do crazy stuff, and you have to restart the sim to get it not to do crazy stuff. But if I've got it on half bank mode... Hang on, let's put it on heading mode. I'm going to put it on heading mode and put the autopilot on and see what happens. See that? I have seen that once before. And the only fix was to restart the sim. So it looks like we're flying it manually. Just that for you all the time? No, it shouldn't do that all the time. I've never had it all the time. It's just every now and again. And weirdly enough, it seemed to correspond with me
like taking off and the right wing just diving. Like it did the same thing in autopilot as what happened to me when I tried to short field takeoff, which I find slightly curious. If you try to turn the avionics off and on again, in mid-flight, you're brave. Although in this sim, who knows what will happen. You just had this in the TBM as well. The weirdest thing was during takeoff at 40 knots, it suddenly pitched up to 50 degrees. Eek. Sometimes you have to reboot the avionics on the SR22 after they glitch out. What, you literally turn the avionics off and on again? Isn't that going to reset your flight plan mid-air? It's nothing to do with the pitot heat, is it? It shouldn't be. Outside's 22. I'm going to try it one more time. I'm going to put it into nav mode. I'll tell you what, let's turn the flight director off and then turn the flight director back on. Then we'll put nav mode on. Pitch mode will be on, and then we'll put autopilot on. Yay! Yay for the crazy avionics! I don't know. Don't know what the problem is. Maybe that'll get fixed in the upcoming patch. This guy's going a different way because we're taking the RNAV approach. Go by Milpa. Not sure where a Milpa is on this thing. Ambius, thank you for subbing, welcome. Mr. Woody, thank you for 3 months. Big pog and love to you all. Where's LFSD? Dijon. Right next to, like, if you look at Dijon on the map on France, it's the southeast corner. Anyone got tips for flying in strong winds? Was flying Gibraltar early in live weather and was getting blown out the sky. What was she flying in? What were the winds? And what was going wrong? Not that kind of chat, Mr. Wong.
Egregious, consistently great streams. You're highly appreciated. Thank you, 42 months, Egregious. And the kind words, sir. Troll bus is early. Dude, it came earlier. Like a few hours ago, we had the troll bus. There's 6,000. That'll do. Have you flown this plane IRL? Never flown a turbojet IRL. Like I say, I'd be happy to fly a Cirrus SR-20 or 22 or a Diamond DA-40. I'd be happy with those. More than happy. I don't need a Caravan or a super fast TBM. The kind of flying I do. I would totally love to have an autopilot though. I really would. He's flying at 152 and 60 knot winds and trying to fly inverted. Okay. Imagine that. Mini Toon, thanks for 5 months. Did I say turbojet? I meant turbo pro. Squeeze a bit more speed. There we go. This the FD is working to navigate you. Well, you can turn the flight director off. What it means is though that when we fly the RNAV, we're flying it all manually because there won't be an approach mode that's going to work properly. Well, we can arm it, but it might show the glide slope indicator, but we're going to fly everything manually. Are you going to do any more IRL flying videos? I am indeed. Yep. I'm going to go flying this week, but I won't be using the cameras. And then I'll probably take the cameras after that. Because, like, the cameras just add another layer of stuff that you need to think about. It's like another 20 minutes of setup and faff. And like, what really annoys me, what really annoys me is nobody makes, like the GoPro has a little battery in it. And even if you put it on, say, 1080 at 30 FPS, the most you'll get out of it, probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Like, nobody builds a, why doesn't GoPro build a GoPro with like an extended battery or something? Or a case with an extended battery in it? So that you can have the camera and it'll last for like 4 or 5 hours of recording, which would be amazing because you could then attach it in the plane or attach it on the wing and you not have to worry about the battery anymore. You know that you can do a flight there, stop the camera. On your return flight, it's going to have enough energy. Like, you don't have to sit there and think about swapping batteries or plugging external charges into cables all around the cockpit. Like, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff.